Hey guys, this is SteelKit Gaming here, back with another scripting tutorial. And today I'm going to be teaching you about tables. Now, what tables are in general is, I guess, a sort of data set in a way. Now, you could kind of think of it as a table holding items, and these items are, of course, values and such. So you'll probably be needing to use this if you're going to be storing large amounts of singular data, I guess, in a sort of compact way. So maybe you have a lot of stats or you have an inventory and you want to save whatever's in that inventory. And if you're making variables for every single item in that inventory, well, that's going to be quite the pain, isn't it? So that's why tables are here, is so that this big chunk of information can sort of just be ordered out in a, I guess, cleaner way. But yeah, since everything here is technically all script related, we're just going to get straight into scripting. So what I'm going to be covering today is are these 5 sort of functions, I guess you could say. Table.find, table.getn, table.insert, and table.remove. Also getting a value from one of the tables. Now in tables, usually it's set in a variable sort of way. So of course, the name you want your, I guess, quote unquote variable to be. Then of course an equal sign, and I guess your selected value. Now when making a table, remember to put these sort of squiggly lines, the ones where all the cool kids could do and everyone else wouldn't, those peasants. But yeah. Now inside tables, they don't actually always need store string values per se. No, they can store, I guess, any sort of single value. So numbers can work, object values can work, so like script.parent per se. Bool values can work as well, things like that. Now, of course, today I'll just be sticking to the string value sort of letters, just so that everything's a little more simplified. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Now, of course, I'm just going to be going down from the top to the bottom. So yeah. So the first one I'll be covering is table.find. Now, table.find is pretty self-explanatory, as most of these ones as well. But table.find pretty much just finds the value you want to, of course, find, and it tells you what position it's in. Please note that any value in a table is given some sort of number in terms of position. Starting from 1. So A would have a position of 1, B would have a position of 2, C would have a position of 3, etc., etc. Note that this does not start at 0 like other scripts, or scripting languages or coding languages. No, this one is based off of 1 first, I guess. So yeah, with that being said, the 3 things inside, or the 3 parameters inside here is the table itself first, then the sort of item you want to reference. So of course this one, I want to find the letter C, or the string value C, and this one here is just saying where do you start looking. So let's say there's some unnecessary data from, like, I don't know, position 1 to 5. Then you could just change this to 5, or even 6, I guess, but it will start at 5. It will check at 5 first and then keep going from there. It won't go before that. So yeah, I'll keep this at 1. And of course, actually, I will just quickly put these in comments so that they don't interfere with my scripting. But of course, to show you how this works, I'll do print table.find letters, C1. So what this is going to do is it's going to find the letter C starting at number 1. So it's going to start at position 1, and it's going to look through every single one, sort of like 4 IV loops. It'll start at A, then B, then, oh, it's found the letter C. Now it checks what C's position is, which is the 3rd position, 1, 2, 3. So if we run the game, this should print out 3 right there. If you can see in the output right there, that says 3. And of course, why is that? Well, it found the position of the letter, which is 3, and it also matched with what it's finding. And because it's in position 3, table.find outputs the value 3. Yeah. So yeah, moving on. Next, we're going to be going to table.getn. Now, getn is technically just saying get number. And what this is doing is basically just finding how many values are inside here. So right now in here, there are 7 values, A, B, C, D, E, G, and H. You're probably wondering why there isn't an F. I will cover that in a second. But, sorry. But there are 7 values in this table. So table.getn is basically going to be finding how many values in total there are inside this table. And of course, if you run the game, you can see that it prints out 7. And of course, the reason why? Well, because there are 7 values inside this table. Alright, moving on again. We have table.insert. Now this one's one of the more complicated ones, so I will have to go, I guess, a little bit more in-depth in this one. Now table.insert is, of course, inserting a value into this table. So, letters, first of all, that's pretty self-explanatory, the table you're referencing. The position you want to insert it in, and the value you want to insert. Now, you may be wondering, well, what happens to the other values? Do they get removed? Do they get pushed up? Well, they get pushed up. Now, we want this to be in position 6, which is between E and G. So, we want to have it to be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, not missing some letter. So, what does it do? First, it of course finds the table, then finds the position. So it's going to be targeting this 6th position, which is where G is right now. And then of course it's going to insert the value. Now what's going to happen is that whatever's in front, so 6 and onward, or the position and onward, will be pushed up. Meaning that, technically, what will happen is that it's going to basically push everything up. Put F like that. And it's going to pretty much go like this. So from this to this. Of course, this gets pushed up 1. So now G is 7 and H is 8. Before, of course, it was 6 and 7, but now it is 7 and 8 because F decided to pop in and push them one up. Now, of course, a good way to think of how this works is that, first of all, if let's say G were to be go behind, well, that would be, I guess, too complicated. So that's definitely out of the question. Then, of course, it's inserting. You're not inserting or replacing. You're not overwriting anything. So something must be pushed. So that's a good way to, I guess, remember how this works. But of course, let's say, so now we know that F is going to be inserted right in the 6th position. Which means that if we just say print letters 6, of course, this is what I'm going to be covering here as well. So if we do print letters 6, we should show that, of course, it says F. And of course, why is that? Well, because F was now pushed into the 6th position, and G and H were pushed up to 7 and 8. All right. Moving on. We have table.remove. Now, table.remove is, once again, pretty self-explanatory. It basically just removes whatever letter there is. So, or in the position, sorry. Or the value in the position. So, let's say I don't really want A, because that's, I never get A's, it's not part of my grade, I don't want it here. So, all we have to do is do the table, so letters, and of course, find the position. Now, we know that A is in the 1st position, so we put 1 here. Now, if we say print letters 1, it's now going to, or at least I predict, it will be B. And the reason for that is because 1 got removed. So now this value is pretty much, well, it's dead. So of course, it removes that value, and it puts B as number 1. Now everything gets bumped down by 1. And if you run the game, you can see that it is B right here in the output. And of course, finally, you can probably infer what this does already, but it just finds the value. So let's say, I don't know, we want to find what value is in position, I don't know, 4, let's say. Now, we know that D is, of course, in 4, but let's say we don't know that. This is going to tell us what value is in position 4. And of course, if we run the game, once again, it is D, because it searched the table, sorry, we know the table, so we reference the table. And then, of course, we're checking position 4, which is D. So yeah, that's pretty much all for this video. I hope I explained everything decently well and such. Of course, if you do have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. But yeah, with that being said, that's honestly all I have for this video. Have fun scripting, be safe out there. Corona's probably getting more deadlier than ever. And of course, I will see you in the next video. Bye!